Hi, Jason Vivash here from J.L. Vivash Custom Wood Floors in Paris, Ontario, Canada. Here to talk to you today about a recent project that won us Best Residential Floor in the Wood Floor Business Magazine contest. So this project came to us from one of the area's top builders. They're building an incredible house in the country not too far from us. And they had mostly pre-finished wide plank flooring throughout the house, but they wanted something very unique in the front entrance. So with the homeowner's love for horses in mind, the designer came up with a very unique inlay in the front entrance, about a 500 square foot area. So it was very intricate and they were having a hard time finding anyone interested. So I decided to take this job on, and it was one of the most labor intensive jobs I've done. So stay tuned and we'll show you more about the design and how we completed this project. So when first looking at the design we received, which was created by the designer, you can see a very unique horse tackle design. There's 5 rings, the white, which would be a white metal ring, and a pink leather strap, and then the buckles at the end of the strap, and then you can see some rivets in the leather straps as well. So we would have a white marble that would represent the metal ring and buckles, and then we'd have a pink marble to represent the leather strapping that we'd have to inlay. So you can see right away a very intricate cut marble, so we'd have to find someone to help us with all that cutting. Design wise, you can see we would really have to center those rings in the areas and get some very precise measurements so that we can line those buckles up properly on the doorways and the transitions and the walls. And then we'd have to figure out how we're going to do all this. Obviously the marble has to be wet jet cut, but were we going to install the marble and bring the wood up to the marble, or are we going to try and program and cut all the wood and the marble and fit it together like a big puzzle? Or could we lay the hardwood and then get some templates, drop them on the hardwood, and then router the pockets out for the inlay? So we decided the third way was how we were going to do it. And so the next step was just finding someone to help us with the cutting. So the other challenge we had were the thicknesses. So the pink marble varied between 1 inch and 1.1 inch. The white marble was between 7/8 and 1 inch. And the hardwood was 3/4 inch thick. The marble we had to install on top of a isolation membrane, and then the thin set adhesive also took up some room. So what I did was I got a sample of the marble and the isolation membrane, got the appropriate notch size trowel, and did a mock-up for what thickness we needed for this inlay. And it was 5/8 of an inch thicker than the hardwood. So we had to build up, the entire main floor had to be built up with 3/4 inch plywood just to account for the marble inlay. So once we had the build-up done, we installed the hardwood floor from the center out to the sides, and then we took string lines and just took string lines down the center of both areas, and we marked out our big templates. This was our template for our rings. We just centered off the templates and we dropped them down, fastened them to the floor, and then started routering. So to router everything out, we used the Festool 2200 router, just a beast of a router. Our bushing guide system that comes from Festool is amazing. And then we went with a 1/2 inch wide combination bit, and I think that was a 2 inch, so about the biggest one you could get. And it took 4 passes to get through the hardwood floor and the plywood. And then we went again with a smaller bushing and a 1/4 inch router bit just to really clean up all the radius. And then we routed out the buckle, we routed out the rings, and then the leather strapping was all just straight run. So we found it easier to drop the Festool track saw in there and cut that out. So once all the pockets were cut out, it was time to install the inlay. So it was, you've probably seen this, it's a type of spacer leveling system that the tile guys use. So you get one side gets underneath the stone or the tile, and then the other side we had to lock into the hardwood. So we had to go with a fine tool blade and create a notch underneath the hardwood just to use this. And then we put these about every 4 to 6 inches. And then we could drop our inlays in and then use the wedge. And then there's a little tool that tightens everything up and then brings everything up nice and flush. So it's a great system. Mind you, probably half the time we dropped our inlays in, we would have to pull them back out and either add a little more thin set or remove depending on the height, because there was definitely some height variation in the stone, so that was a bit challenging. So once that thin set dries overnight, we can knock these off and remove them, and then we're ready for grouting. We had to retape, all the hardwood, and then there was 2 different colors of grout depending on what color of marble the grout was going next to, so that was a bit of a challenge. And then just in general, trying to keep the pre-finished hardwood clean, not to damage and scratch it, was definitely time consuming. So, but yeah, in the end, everything worked out great. It took about 3 weeks to complete the whole project, and that's it. Everyone was happy. Well, it was one of the more interesting projects we've done, and we're happy we could help them with it. And thanks for watching.